And way down we go, 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 go. Oh, way down we go, go.
Hello everybody, this is Mohan Simam. You're listening to Into the Chaos podcast. Entrepreneurship is a lonely journey. Mental health and the struggles around an early stage entrepreneur are least discussed. In this ultra casual podcast, I hope to bring more awareness about the not so spoken about aspects of an entrepreneur's life, the drama, the struggles, the problem they are solving, their core values, and their accomplishments. Thank you for tuning in and hope you enjoy it.
Whoa, you let your feet run wild. Time has come as we all go down. Yeah, but for the fall, my heart.
Kushal Jain, my man. How many rain checks we did for this to happen?
What's the rain check? You haven't.
Yeah, so Kushal taught me this word called rain check. So it's basically people checking and seeing if they are free, and if they are free, both of them are free, we do something together, right? So how many rain checks we did? 4, 5?
Yeah.
4, 5?
Yeah.
See, Kushal is very busy. So
But I called you maybe.
And also is very committed. Yeah, so your story is a little weird, and you make me feel I'm dumb, and your story is a little resembling for this Swadeshi movie, right? Swadesh.
Shah Rukh Khan.
You can be a little more louder, by the way.
Or maybe even the White Tiger.
I haven't seen that, so I cannot comment on it. So tell your story to the listeners. Where are you from? Where did you grow up, and what are the kind of insane shit you did?
My story is kind of very simple. When I was 16, I kind of decided that, committed to being an astrophysicist, and that was a choice where I don't know if I made the choice or the choice made me, because I wasn't really that aware or conscious of that choice, but I was committed to it and I liked astrophysics. So throughout my 11th and 12th, I decided to go to US, focused on that, didn't attend school that much, didn't care for school that much, wasn't that great of a student throughout. Had like a few friends who I was very close to and shared a lot, but then wasn't that open to other people then. So then I got into University of California, Santa Cruz, and then just a couple of months after my 18th birthday, I went to University of California, Santa Cruz, and then I hadn't been to outside India before then. I'd barely been alone on a trip before then, and I definitely not lived by myself then. So when I moved there, that was like just throwing me into a strange planet. So I was just dropped into a strange planet, and I had decent expectations, I would say. Even though I was committed to astrophysics, I knew that US would allow me to learn about different things and explore different fields, explore different ideas. I've been coding since I was 8th standard, so I knew the tech world. And Silicon Valley was close to me then, and University of California. So I was tech is going on, and for me science still does play a bigger role, because that's where creation happens, and I can talk about science, tech and business bucket later on. And so after then, while I was studying, I got to study math, physics, philosophy, and then I got an opportunity to work with NASA Ames on a biotech project, and that's where I got introduced to hydroponics, which is what my current main focus is.
Wait. Did you just drop in the NASA bomb so casually? You gotta talk more about it, bro. You cannot just say, I was just associated with NASA and just go by. Tell us more about it. How did you get inside? What did you do?
So
what did you do
when
there?
I was studying, I met this amazing founder lady called Rachel, and she had just completed a bachelor's, and then She initially had come up with this project called New Leaf. And basically, the idea with New Leaf was, what if we could modify plants such that when they grow, the light they do not use is passed through them, through the roots, and where we have solar arrays, and where we collect that light. So imagine we are growing crops that provide us food and energy. So we are solving all of the world's problems.
So to the layman, to put this in a simple word, you guys were trying to see an experiment on the idea of creating electricity out of plants.
Yeah.
That is like without any complex solar installation, maintenance and stuff. Just organically produce electricity from the plants to roots.
Basically, but at least if the plants could transfer the light they don't use to the roots where we have solar array, at least that would solve farming and solar issues.
Okay.
So you can do both at the same time.
Okay. To go on a little more technical level, it's like basically trying to pass the knocked out electrons because of the photon incidence, passing it to the root. That extra electrons,
Yeah.
and thus creating an ocean of current, right? Okay. That's, I don't know what to say about this, bro.
It's like a motor. So it's not by me, and wish I was so smart. But the best part about I'll go like US culture and Indian culture also, but like the best part about the US culture there is that they're very open to such moonshot ideas, such crazy ideas, and everyone involved. Like, so I mean, okay, so the project was by Rachel Major, and then she found someone else, Ari, who was like the lead scientist, and then they got involved with NASA Ames, and then NASA Ames took up the project, and then University of California like got some students involved, and so it's always a collaborative effort.
Okay.
So it's not so NASA Ames gave access to certain parts of the lab, and we would get there.
How is
took
it
me
like,
like
so
6 interviews to get there, and then clearance of NASA Ames was also tough, and even despite getting inside.
So how did it feel to be coming from India, wanted to be an astrophysicist, and then finally ending up in NASA, and then working with this fantastic geniuses from all around the world? How tell me more about the feeling of it, like the psychological effect of it. What kind of changes does that bring in you when you're in that kind of place?
It was, I mean, the whole journey of like 2.5 years was just overwhelming, start to finish, and on so many different levels.
This is when you were like 21 to 22?
18.
18
Yeah.
to 20?
21.
Oh
21.
my god,
Yeah.
I'm certainly dumb around you, bro.
So there was a lot of things that were happening, and to be honest, I was overwhelmed, and then overwhelmed is a great word to describe that. But then I was learning so much I was understanding where I want to do or what I want to do. So even despite I was doing that, I was like, is this the right thing for me? Do I really want to slog off doing the same kind of process? And I also realized that if I really want to work at that level, I either have to be an American citizen or have like a PhD, study for like 10-15 years. And one thing is that I am an impatient person. So I learned that about myself. I learned that I like to be creative, so I cannot be doing the same kind of processes in any job. So I cannot do the same process for like a prolonged period of time. That's not me. Those were the things I was learning then. And one thing I was really learning is I enjoy the process of science. And science for me is like a form of art. It's almost creating knowledge.
So when did you decide you gotta get back?
So I decided when I get back was probably when I bought the tickets. But I struggled with the idea of getting back for at least like 3 to 4 months before I actually bought the tickets. So, and And I mean, the thing is, it was a solo decision.
It is it?
It was a solo decision. And like going to US was also a solo decision, and both of them played kind of heavily on my psyche. When I was going to US, my parents they supported me, obviously, but they didn't encourage me. So it was like neutral for them. They're like, yeah, if you can go, we will kind of like help you go there, but they were not like go to US, go to US. They're like, sure. Kind of they were hoping that I don't go, because they're conservative parents. Yeah. So even while coming back, I was like, so I realized that I wanted to do something which is I don't know, which I haven't heard anywhere else before, but I call it the three buckets perspective of the world. One perspective. So imagine now we have three buckets. One bucket is information. Information could be how to write, how to code, how to paint, any theories of science. Then you have the second bucket, which is anything from the first bucket which is useful to humans, useful in any way, useful to them in just enjoying pleasure, entertainment, infotainment, actual help, food, how to grow. So a theory on how to grow would be technologically how to farm, actually implemented farming, maybe a tractor.
So to put it in a simple words, you left NASA to come back to India to work on agriculture.
To work on hydroponics. No, so let me finish this three buckets thing. So second bucket is anything from information which is useful to humanity is put into a bucket called technology. It gets filtered as technology. There's a lot of theories of science which are not really useful to humans. So they remain in science. And then when they're implemented into human life and they're useful, they become technology bucket. And then you have the third bucket, which is anything from technology which humans are ready to exchange value for. So if they value a technology enough, they'll exchange value for it. So before it was, since a lot of people were just working in farms, you grow certain kind of crop, I grow certain kind of crop, we exchange that depending on how much crop we have. So exchange of value, exchange of labor. Nowadays someone codes for 5 hours, they get value of $100 and they use that $100 to pay a farmer to get 100 kilos of apples, let's say. Right. So that's how value exchange happens. So anything from technology which is valued by humans comes into entrepreneurship or business. So I realized what I want to do with my life and what I think I would be good at is creating more information, moving that into technology where it's useful to humanity. And then if you can, what you try to do is actually make it such that the technology itself is useful without being commercialized. But then you've got to commercialize it sometimes so that the product becomes better and its mass adoption can happen. So I tried to figure out what is one thing which is a lot in the realm of science which should be moved into technology and business. And then the field and the industry I would say I found is hydroponics. So hydroponics exists. There is a lot of it's booming right now, but 3-4 years ago it was like a lot in the realm of science and only a few commercial projects around the world. So that had to be moved from that into technology, into business. And why hydroponics is because hydroponics has a lot of things which it solves. And if I solve for hydroponics, I can solve for those issues as well. Yeah. So what are the issues? So one of the biggest issues which would be is that hydroponics can reduce the farmland required by 90%. We can give that farm to forest. So that way we can do carbon storage basically. Like we return carbon back to the planet, save the forest. Second, we get high quality produce reliably. Third is you can grow pretty much anything you want anywhere.
So how's the Bumble scene going on?
Bumble scene is going on in a confidential manner. That is the most sad.
So how old
That's
are
a
you?
very bad, thing to say after what I just said. It's like you
I'm
were
not-
talking about Bumble now. Okay.
This podcast is
Okay.
not about your of course it involves your entrepreneurial career, but not about the details of it. it's about the life around you, you know.
But also
So
the flow of
it's
the
also
conversation.
the flow of the conversation. It's very important. It's very important. And so how old are you now?
Huh?
How old are you now?
24.
24. So what's like your personal life plan?
Personal life plan. What do you mean?
See, like a lot of folks, 21, 22, 20-year-old folks will be listening to this probably, hopefully, and you know, they are also in a lot of dilemmas. So,
Okay.
like, if you could just like share what just happened in your life, no gyans, strictly no advices and gyans in this podcast.
Okay.
It's just like, you know, accumulating information of what people are doing, so
Okay.
that we are collectively more wiser.
Okay.
So that's all it's about. No
So-
advice. So what's your like personal life plan? You know, that involves family, marriage, kids, and
Okay. So
you
like
know,
that.
your
Okay.
personal goals and how
Sure.
much career is mean to you or something like that.
So, career is something I would define as what I want to do with my life productively. Because, and by that I mean is like, I don't know, but I have a very core drive of like trying to be helpful and trying to like do something, and that also is because life is so free if you really look at it. Like, it really gives you option to do anything you want, and I really want to make a good use of the time. I want to give and take, and give back to society. Take in terms of having wonderful experiences. That could be travel, friends, family, a great cup of coffee, or something else.
Coming back to the cup of coffees.
And then so a lot of people like look into like marriage and dating and things like that, and I feel like that's a very personal choice, and the problem with maybe problem I would say, like, again coming, I have to give some gyan. I feel like people don't think enough for themselves. They don't really like think कि what would be good for me. They're like, मम्मी पापा ने बोला शादी कर लेंगे तो ठीक है, I'll enjoy for 1 or 2 years with some girl or date or go to Thailand, and then marriage मम्मी पापा करवा लेंगे. Then we'll see what happens. Then only on the honeymoon night they figure out, okay, let's see what happens, you know. That's a realization comes in. So what I would want for me would be maybe someone just like an equal partner or something, and I'm comfortable with nothing also. So
Okay.
it's either way, like a coin flip.
I know somebody is having some kind of a car thing going on in the background, but I think our user, like listeners.
What about you, Mohan?
Me?
You are much
No.
older than me.
This podcast is not about me. It's just about. The
Come on, you
people
gotta
speak
share.
to.
I mean, this is the first podcast. First podcast you didn't share much, and I think it's just the second podcast. So at least
No,
we will hear
like
some.
people. I mean, I'm just gonna post it in my stories. I mean, my stories in my feed. So it's going to be people who know me. So I
still-
don't really have to tell about anything about me.
Come on, tell me. Who are you dating? Are you dating somebody? Yes, no.
No. Dating is. First of all, it's strictly not allowed in my family.
Okay.
And and I'm not in a state to do that.
See, the thing is, if you really think that arranged marriage has to be the way for you because of family situations or whatever, then just go for it, and then go for it with good awareness and consciousness. Like, try to talk to the girl and like go beyond looks, understand the person, and then make the decision. But
No,
then
these
go
are
and do it.
too high.
But then go ahead and do it, and then try to do it as fast as possible, because
So these are too higher functioning for my family line. So I can't come.
that's not true. That's not true, because You really think that families don't evolve, but they really do. If you see the difference between your mom and dad versus your grandparents, there's a significant difference. So why don't you think that even that much amount of difference would at least exist between your parents and you? So that will exist.
Yeah, sure. Like,
So for example, before maybe your dad was allowed to only look at the girl's picture and then get married. But now what we can do is
no, I
maybe
don't think
you can get a phone number and then text her for some time and then get married. You know. So that can be option number 2. Don't.
That is actually true. It's certainly better. That is true. Actually, yeah. If you look at it, yeah. How will we get our kids married? Like, what do you do?
Our kids won't listen to us if we have no picture.
So it's not even a subject that we should be talking about. Right? It's like,
Yeah.
but your parent, right? You will have some kind of expectations from your
You
kids.
have a controlling.
Love is always like give and take.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What do you think will you do? Like, you don't really give any restrictions for your kids?
Too far I'll have to think about it.
See, that's why I feel dumb around you. Okay.
Why would you say that? You're accomplished in your own manners. You're leading the hero team.
No, leading is a very wrong word.
Managing.
No way. I will never be like I will never
The
be a good
architect.
manager in my life.
He's the architect of the technology team of hero.
No, actually, I'm sort of not allowed to talk about it in a public avenue much. You know, like the place is so like secretive. So they even seal your cameras on your phone every day before you go. So you're not allowed to take photos inside. It's like a
So this is Heroes Area 51.
yeah. It's like that's where it's like 20 kilometers out of the city, and then it's so secretive and you know, like this crazy
Any
procedures
flying
to get
cars.
inside. No, not so crazy like that. But they have this fantastic facility. It reminded me of like the SpaceX one. SpaceX.
What do you
facility.
like? Do you think the culture there is like innovative or very
Over there?
future focused?
See, it's a public company. End of the day, it's a sales organization. But for a sales organization, the kind of you know, the facilities that they've created, the interest they show on R&D, it's impressive. So no wonder they are the largest two-wheeler manufacturer in the world, and they will be probably leading in technology as well.
Okay.
In the country, yeah.
Do you think they'll be selling electrical to globally?
They are already having like some about 100 countries. They are
Yeah.
already selling to
Nice.
half the countries in the world. They're the biggest OEM in the world in the two-wheelers. And they're pretty profitable too.
Yeah. Nice. I'm excited about like the next 10 years in India.
Yeah, see, that's the reason I stayed back here, right? So
That's the reason I moved. One of the
see,
reasons.
like we are on page on that. So we know that the exponential curve is here in Bangalore right now, and US is sort of like linear, right? So it's like a yearly 2% growth.
Yeah. Now well.
But here, overall nation itself is going through like in the best case scenario 7.58 and stuff like that. So yeah.
So one more thing is, being an entrepreneur, there is a lot of issues. I would say, like you have to deal with, particularly based on like your judgment, based on the people you have with you, the people who are working with you who rely on you, based on what do you know. So you always have to be judging yourself constantly, seeing if you really have looked into different options, you really thought about different perspectives.
But
And that brings about a lot of anxiety. I mean,
yeah, so
I'm
that's
trying to relate it to
that's a
mental
problem,
health.
right?
And
So it is common to feel anxious all the time. It is common to feel like, so doubtful of yourself.
But one thing is that it is not a comfortable experience. And the thing is, most people and normal people have are discomfortable with being discomfortable.
I think
So,
that is true.
so the thing is, you have to kind of find some comfort in being discomfortable. And sometimes I like to play around and make people discomfortable, and then make them conscious of being that, and that kind of helps.
Leadership Gyan.
Lead that last 30
Leadership Gyan. Oh my god. Kushal never stops giving Gyan.
Lead the last 30 seconds.
We're deleting nothing in this podcast. Yeah. So this was amazing, man. It's just a quick catch up session. You keep looking at your watch.
No, I have time.
You have time?
Yeah.
It's awesome, man. So what do you think is
10 to 15
what do you think is a like winning strategy towards self-realization? Because this is why I'm asking is because it's relevant, because from the first day I met, we had a conversation, and then I know in the conversation that you have self-realized more than like me, or I possibly could be right now. So you know who you are, what's your strength.
So if you think you are self-realized, you are living in an illusion. If you think you're living in an illusion, you're self-realized.
இது ஆட்டோ பின்னாடி எழுதிக்கலாமே.
So there's nothing like, I don't really think there is self-realization. What I would say is there is some amount of contentness which I feel more than I would have felt like 4 years ago, and that's something which is increasing. And self-realization, if there is something, it's a process rather than you reach and then you're like always like in a happy state or something. So self-realization, I don't think I achieved or something like that. But I would say,
or is it even not worthy to work towards?
What would be worthy to work towards instead of calling it self-realization is probably like self-development. And that would be like working out, eating better, finding out things about the world, and realizing, like reading, learning, doubting yourself, doubting whether you are living up to your full potential, whether you are creating barriers for yourself, whether you are the most content and happy you can be. Because a lot of that is psychological. A lot of our mental issues are in some ways caused by our patterns or our way of life. So definitely entrepreneurship and its anxiety and its self-doubt and the doubts from everyone around you, and the struggle and the brokenness and eating at that definitely creates like mental issues, and they have to be dealt with in a better way. A lot of ways people deal with that. Cycling, running, different sports, hobbies, and then bad ways, excessive drug abuse.
So about drug abuse, what is your stance on marijuana?
I am. If people want to do it, they should have the choice to do it. That's my choice with pretty much anything.
See, sometimes I think you're probably doing all this research on hydroponics right now because you can figure out when marijuana becomes legal and you'll be the leader of the industry.
That is my backup plan in case the company fails.
So how do you figure out the legal stuff?
That's not even close to one of the, like, that's not even the top 10 reasons I'm doing hydroponics. And one of the reasons I'm dedicated to hydroponics so much is because I have so many reasons around it. Rather than having just one reason, I have like so many reasons I'm doing hydroponics.
Okay.
and so hydroponics and weed is not like
Yeah, I
in
totally
the top
understand.
10.
But you
So that
are
would be like a bonus. If it got legal, it would be a bonus. I'm not making any efforts to legalize it, and I think it will come around because if you look into the history of weed, into like how it got illegal versus how it got legal, U.S. involvement, and then how U.S. and Europe are moving back, and then UN recently declaring it as like a okay substance or whatever. And then Indians have been smoking for thousands of years. The government of India grows more weed than probably any organization because they have to make bhang, and the government of India like legally licenses growing productions in different states and also for health medical uses. So again, mental health issues, I would suggest meditation, and the way I deal with it is like there's been a lot of ways I've dealt with it. There have been times when I've like done other shit, not dealt with in the right way. There's yeah.
That's not bad. So, you're part of this community called Make a Farm. I am a part of that as well. So, tell us about it. What is this thing going on secretly in some part of Bangalore?
So I think what's more interesting is to hear from your side, the way you look at it, because I mean, because there's so many Megawam is so many things, and I really want to know like how you think of it.
I think it's like this crazy group of people who have sort of informally come together and created this world class hacker lab, and then truly innovating in a way that not even a lot of accelerators in the town does. And I'm so happy to be part of it. It has certainly made a lot of change in me, and both professionally, personally. And I think, I think successful companies will have to come out, and then people, hopefully, this like 397 mafia, as we call it, make it something like paper mafia. Yeah, that would be a dream. That would be one of the dream come true.
Definitely. So for me, it was like there are different paths, and instead of Make a Farm coming into existence and then people coming into that, it was more like people coming and then Make a Farm coming around that.
Yeah.
Uh, so when we started with like there like a whole bunch of unique people, like entrepreneurs, people who wanted to be actors, people who were artists, people who were just musicians, and people who were just chilling. And what we figured out is like everyone was growing different ways in life, but some of us could definitely help others in going their way better, and then other people could help that person going their way better, and we're just informally doing it, and I'll just call it friends. And so then we're like, okay, this is interesting. This is a lot like what Shaker experienced in the US with Hacker Labs and Maker Labs, and even I got to experience that in Silicon Valley. And also one of the best things about we have tried to like push and Make a Farm culturally as a community is networking. So in Silicon Valley, things happen really fast because there's a lot of networking. If you really want to meet somebody and you have a good proposal and an idea for them, you can meet them with like 2-3 meetings away. So you're just 2-3 meetings away from meeting Steve Jobs if you were there. Or Satya Nadella too. Just you meet him. So we saw that in India, people were right now. I still see that people in India do not really share their ideas that much, especially entrepreneurs, thinking that the idea can be copied. And I think it's dumb to think like that because, as I was saying, you constantly have to like judge yourself and your idea and your thinking process and your opinions and your decisions, right? So if you're not telling your idea to people, what you're doing is you're preventing a feedback loop. So in a feedback loop, I tell you something, you have your own opinion, whether it could be right or wrong. Most probably it'll be wrong because the entrepreneur has a lot of experience, but I'm just saying. But you just have to like look into it as it is, and you have to at least be open to sharing your idea, and yeah, I feel that's less in India.
I'm so happy we did this, man. Cool. So, thanks a lot. I think we should do more of this. We will. It's mostly for us to listen back after many years later. So, it's a pleasure to have you. Thanks for coming.
Whoa, baby.
This podcast is powered by Amazon Capital. We are an emerging technology consulting firm. We help startups to innovate and enterprises to transform their business with our world-class inventors, engineers, and consultants. If you think we can help solve your problem or want to refer us to anybody who can benefit with our services, please drop a mail to contact@amazon.com.
So we're down we go. Ooh, way down we go.